Hi, Latinos and clinical researchers. We are here today with Luisa Hernandez. And Luisa, to introduce you, I'm gonna kind of get off your front bio from LinkedIn because you're doing a good amount of things. So it says here that you're the founder of the Research Approach. You're a clinical research coordinator at Winship Cancer Institute, and you're also a clinical research advocate. It's pretty awesome. Really glad that I came across you on LinkedIn. I thought it was pretty amazing. How much advocacy you're giving for the minority groups and out there, and more specifically, Latinos. But Latinos in clinical research, we're all about that, and so I felt like it was really important that we would connect with you and bring your stories, right? Because we always want to do what we can to represent the minority population, especially in clinical research. And so, yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm very humbled to be here with you guys. I'm really glad that you guys invite me to be part of this session here.
Luisa,
Awesome.
your background's very interesting and we're going to get into a lot of it, but can you give us the thing that sticks out to me is the blog? Can you talk about how you've built your following?
Yes, first, at the beginning when I started the blog, I wanted to reach out to everybody. So I did an ad first in Facebook so that I will get those followers. And then from there, I noticed that I've seen like on and off from my followers, but technically, I really just want to reach out to everybody like globally. And I just leave it like that. Right now, I think I'm in 3,000 followers in Facebook, and I'm working right now in the website. The website issue give more information, not only about uh, information that I put in the blog, but also resources that the viewers, they can just go in and search for clinical trials themselves. They will know who to contact, and they can also reach out to us, and we can give advice if they want us. But it's just pretty much just a resource that they will have, so we can be there for them, because I know some of these patients, when they enroll in clinical research, I notice that they have a lot of questions. And every single time that I see this is kind of like a motivation for me, like to keep going and put information out there. Like, we are really trying to work on their website, but sometimes, life happens. I'm just trying to get there.
What was the unique, everybody, whoever starts a movement like this, they always have a unique angle, I guess, or something that's niche. At least it starts niche and then it can grow wider. So what was it for you? Like your first few followers, let's say your first 100. I know you have like 3,000 now. So your first 100, like who can you just break down who that person is, what they typically are doing in research and what they look like and what they're interested in and those kind of things?
So far, what I've noticed, the first followers that I had, they weren't from US. They were actually from Latin America. And that's something that got into me. I'm like, oh my God, somebody from outside of here. And that's why sometimes I will, at the beginning, I think that I was writing in English and Spanish, both. I have lost that. I think I should go back to do that, because that will be more, uh, I can reach to more people that way. There are many countries
I
that speak.
see. So you're doing mostly English now. I
Yeah,
see.
sometimes I really try to have the time, but time have been really limited for me right now. So that's why I haven't been able to
Hmm.
mhm.
Is the content like mostly written word or video, audio, or what kind of content are you doing?
At the beginning, I started like doing only only written, and then I try to do a few videos, but I get really shy with videos. And right now, I guess that you guys can hear in my voice, I get a little bit nervous. I always get nervous when I'm talking in public. But if you get me in a corner, I will be talking forever. I tend to talk a lot, but when I get in public or with a lot of people that I'm not familiar with or that I'm getting to know, I get really nervous. So that's what I quit the videos, and now I'm doing only written, and I also put an image or the source where I got the. I always put the source because I came from basic research, and we always, of course, we always put the source where we get that information from. So that's
I
what I'm
see.
doing right now.
And I see from your LinkedIn that you started out as a research assistant at Morehouse at Dr. Zhao's laboratory. Um,
Yes.
what were you doing there?
She was my PI when I was in basic research. I did my master's with her actually.
Oh, okay.
I did my thesis dissertation and everything with her. And then I stayed for a little bit with her till I was due for to have my baby.
Okay, and then RNA, DNA, protein isolation. So this was like bench research that you were
Yeah,
doing.
bench
Stable
research. Yeah.
gene transfection. I mean, you must be like really excited about things like CRISPR and those kind of technologies that are out now.
Yeah, I'm really excited about research. I think that basic research. I think that I lost a little bit most of the most of the knowledge you get a loss, and then you have to do a refresher so that you get back to it. But the thing that I
Hmm.
miss the most about basic research, I think it will be writing papers and reading and getting, oh my god, they did it.
And then you went to clinical research coordinator 2. So you did oncology, breast cancer, thoracic cancer, uh, GI. What can you talk about your experiences there? And you're currently a CRC3, clinical research coordinator 3 for Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University over there in Atlanta. So what can you talk to us about oncology, especially if there are any disparities amongst the Hispanic populations out there?
Yeah, I've noticed when I first started, I started as a tool, and then I started noticing. I got, at first I got really excited, thinking that probably I will be like a resource for minority populations, and I am. It's just that I don't see that many Hispanics or Latinos joining clinical trials. I really don't see them. Um, I think that I only have only one right now.
Luisa, what was the motivation for you to create your blog?
The lack of knowledge that I noticed among underrepresented minorities.
But that
Uh,
was when you were in preclinical, or when you started working in the oncology.
when I started in oncology, I noticed that no, it's not only underrepresented minorities, also minority groups. I noticed that too, that they join a clinical trial, and I noticed that they will have questions after they sign the consent, and I'm like, well, that question should have been asked before you sign the consent, and I will sit there with them and talk to them about it. And I think that's one thing that I do now. I create this a relationship with my patients to a point that they will be able like to ask me anything, like ask me anything. And I think that's what one of my strengths right now is that I'm able like to create that relationship with my patients, and I really like it. I enjoy it.
So what do you think is the success of your relationship? Was that key factor?
I think that I talk to them the same way that I'm talking to you right now. I think that I talk to them like I don't talk to them like if I'm an outsider. I really get involved. Like, I think that's why probably.
And then do you think that's also important for when it comes to the patient retention?
Yes, it is. Because they get to know your face, you're the face that they will see. That, like, you will be the one that they will be calling. And I know my patients, their daughters, like, hey, how are you? Who is your daughter? Or their husband, their wives, you get to build that relationship. And it's not only collecting data, it's also forming a relationship with your patients. That's what is really important. And that's what we have to do as coordinators. And even if you are not a coordinator, if you're in clinical research or even in as a standard of care, you also have to create that relationship. That's really important to give that confidence to the patient so that they will be able to ask you anything and they won't feel like I'm scared to ask a question. They have to always feel free to ask any question at all. Like I have a patient that she'll be calling me and asking me, hey, what about this? What about that? Should I do this? And I'm like, yeah, of course, it's up to you. But it's just building that relationship that it matters to be able to uh, make a patient stay or not make them like to. It's a choice for them, but to stay with us and uh, be confident that they will be very well taken care of.
And I have a question. What's the average length that you're working usually with a patient in the clinical trials that you work in? Are they pretty lengthy clinical trials or are they pretty short? I would assume they're pretty lengthy, right? I'm not familiar with oncology, so.
Oncology, some of them the trials are forever. Some of them you follow them up to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Or till the study close.
So yeah, it's a several year relationship. It's not just like 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Okay.
No, and even when after the patient become a follow-up patient, I'm like, you're gonna be hearing from me. I'm gonna be calling you. I'm gonna be bugging you. So even my follow-up patients, I also build a relationship with them after they are off the active phase of the clinical trial.
And did you make them follow you in your blog? Tell them that a lot of information.
Actually, I don't do that. I don't do that. If they came across the blog, they can just join it, but I don't talk to them about the blog. What I make sure is that they have all the information that they need, because sometimes not everybody have the knowledge about clinical research. When a physician offered them this, they have many questions, and I just make sure that they know what they are getting into.
Yeah, Luisa, what you're doing is admirable, because so are most of your readers or audience members, are they cancer patients?
I don't think so. I think it varies because I think that I received messages before from people wanted to get into clinical research as coordinators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I received those messages before, but I don't know if the most of the readers are oncology patients.
So the reason I say that is because when I started my blog in 2010, I mean, I was like you. I wanted to make something for patients. I didn't care about other researchers at that time. I wanted more patients for my clinics, and then I thought, okay, if I could get patients like nationwide to watch my stuff, maybe I could make a referral agency or like a patient recruitment agency or something. And it turned out the only people watching were research sites. And so I just switched to that, and it created other businesses. But, the patient thing is very tough. So I'm just curious maybe it was the Spanish, but how did you manage to attract so many patients and not researchers?
What I is just creating an ad. based on what, you know how Facebook works, based on what people are looking for. That's how the ad will came through. And at some point I only target Latin America because I wanted to have audience from outside of US. But that happened after I got my first, like, that was somebody that was outside of US. and then I'm planning to create another ad. It's been over a year that I create that single ad that gave me that many followers. I'm planning to create another ad that will target better. I'm learning. I'm learning as I go. Because it's really difficult to target those patients. It's really difficult. You're completely right. It's really difficult. That's what I'm planning to create another ad, but I just need time to sit down and work with that, because right now life is kind of all
Yeah.
over the place.
Luisa, I would actually be really interested when you do work on it to see if I can help you out, because what you're doing is kind of similar to what I do in Imperial County. But like you said, it's really hard to reach out to the patients. We're trying to do educational stuff on Facebook. It's just, we've been doing it for years and it's still like I feel like we're moving slowly and we're not getting to everyone, but we should. And I just don't know, like, I think what you're doing is great. And the fact that you got that many followers, like Dan said, keep doing it. But the next one you do, I would be very interested to see if I could help with you.
Yeah, me too. That's impressive.
I'll be really glad, because it's really, sometimes it's really it's a little bit stressful, because when you're by yourself. And I have also somebody that helped me, LICR. But sometimes she's from she do bench research. So right now she's really busy. So we've been all over.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to work together, collaborate on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
Luisa.
doing that alone is really difficult. Yeah. But
I had a question. So I know that you said your blogs are like for helping patients, but do you is it always focused on that, or do you sometimes provide some insight on new things that are happening within research? Is it just in oncology? Or do you have like a specific type of theme that you focus on?
no, I talk about a little bit about everything. I think that one time I still have to learn to talk to the family members when a patient pass away, because I start crying too. So that's not good. You see, I'm too emotional. After I have my baby, I become completely emotional. I even cry with cartoons. So it's really difficult to me to call noticing that my patient passed away. Sorry. It's really difficult. And then I don't know what to say over the phone. You see, I think that one time I really write down something about that. It's not that I don't care, it's that I'm shocked too, And I think that's something that maybe some companies should focus on, to train people, like to talk to the family members about that, because I still get emotional.
For sure. No, and I completely understand. I know that when I was in the healthcare background, we actually would get trained on things like that. 'Cause sometimes it wouldn't just be the PI, it would be whoever's the first person to get in contact with family, especially if there's a reaction. So I completely understand that. I was curious, how often do you touch on the topic of diversity? Explaining to your following, how important it is that they get active in clinical research, and also how it's difficult. It might be difficult from their perspective, because there's not a lot of Spanish speaking clinical researchers out there.
I think that I haven't really talked about that in the blog. I'm developing that in the website that I'm doing, because before I had a makeup blog. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the website, how to do it, how to manage it. And I pay a company to do that. I pay over $1,000 to a company to make my website. And now I'm like, but I already know how to do it, you know. So I'm doing it myself now, and in there, I'm including resources based on your race, resources that you can go to. And I actually noticed that in the clinical research.org, I think, or gov. I was checking, and I noticed also there was a publication that came out where they are talking about the race-specific research. And I was checking, and I think that I don't see many, not any at all, Latino-specific
Research.
clinical which in comparison, I know that there are many that they are not many in comparison with what it should be there out there. But I see that for African Americans, there are clinical research that are specific for them. But I would like to see that happening for Latinos.
Yeah, for sure.
Clinical research that are specific for us.
Awesome. Well, that's really amazing. Everything you're doing, it's really admirable, like Dan said. And I mean, yes, it definitely takes a lot of work. And so the fact that you're, going at it and doing it pretty much on your own, it's pretty amazing, honestly. And the fact that you're able to reach out to so many people, and hopefully, that just keeps growing, and who knows, maybe we can collaborate with you and see how it is that we can help you, and also, get your blog and get a little bit more access to your blog, and then, provide us as a resource to your patients, right? Because we also want to be providing information to not just researchers, but also to those that are interested in getting involved as researchers, because we have access with PIs and things like that, and that we interview and give them more information on.
I think it's commendable, like Ashley said, and thank you for putting us in touch with Luisa, Ashley. One more question I guess I had. Because you're creating something of value, do you have plans, or maybe you already have a business that you are making because of this? Because I would imagine if you have 3,000 patients interested in studies, the sponsors would want to work with you. So can you tell us what's going on?
I haven't think about it. The only thing that I have think about is to open a company that can help me to pay some bills for patients. I noticed the struggle too.
So you're paying your own money out of your own pocket for the ads?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're definitely dedicated to this field. I mean, we gotta get some sponsorship or something for Luisa. Come on, guys, if you're watching this, message any one of us.
Actually, we do have somebody, and maybe we can get you in contact with him, Herman, right? Herman,
true.
like Judy. Yeah, he has a technology where you can actually go in there and you can I think it's the sponsors, correct, or the PIs, they can pay, they can give some money in sponsorship for doctor's visits with, I think, including research, I believe, from what I
There's a
understood.
lot of people that would want access to these patients, and I know you didn't do it, Luisa, because it's a business, but I think you can reach more people and affect more change if you did have a business behind it.
Yeah, I'm planning to. It's just that I haven't think exactly. I know that I want to have a company that can get sponsorship, and by getting that, we will be able to pay patients' bills. I noticed that is a really big struggle. The American Cancer Society, they have a program for patients so that they can get their rights, but I haven't seen the to pay the bills. When a patient is getting $3,000 in as a copay for a MRI, is really affecting their pockets.
I really thought there would be more resources for patients, especially like through going through cancer that would be able to cover their bills. I didn't realize there's not much out there.
What we should do, I mean, I think
Probably.
for one of our upcoming webinar, I don't know how far out we're booked, but we should have Luisa come on because we have a lot of sponsors, and actually the further out the better, because we're going to have more and more sponsors joining these things,
Yeah.
like pharmaceutical sponsors, and oncology research is 50% of all of research. I mean, it's huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think we should have you on as like a guest, like live with all the audience members as well.
Okay.
So you have to get ready for that.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
really
Lisa,
am really
definitely.
excited. I really just want to create something that can help. I have two family members that they passed away from cancer. So
Mm.
the last one
Yeah,
was my wake up into clinical research, like, because my grandma asked me, is there anything out there that can help my son? And I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
mean,
That's difficult.
Yes.
mhm.
I mean, you definitely have a passion and a huge motivation behind all this. And I
Mhm.
think that those two things actually help almost guarantee that, whatever you're going to do, there's going to be a lot of fuel behind it. And so long as there's fuel, something's going to come out of it. It's very clear that what's happening for you already is already very major. So, I mean, I think definitely, when we have our next co-founder meeting, we can even probably discuss how we could collaborate with you and we'll follow up. And if you're interested in any of that, we would love to help you and get linked up because what you're doing is great. And it's really has everything to do with what Latinos in clinical research wants to support.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. I'm just really happy we all got in touch.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Me
absolutely.
too.
Links to Luisa's LinkedIn are underneath the video, and everybody go connect with her there. And does anyone else have any other questions? Or Luisa, anything else you want to say? Call to action for anybody?
Yeah, to keep spreading the words about clinical research, especially educating underrepresented minorities. Yeah, that's what we have to do. We are in this field, and if we notice a disparity, we have to do something. Because if you think about it in the long run, when the medication are out there and are already approved by the FDA, if the medication is not working for any specific group for underrepresented minority, you have to think about what happened. And that what happened is that there wasn't enough underrepresented minorities in that clinical trial. And that's why that drug is not very completely effective in that specific race. Yeah, just putting that out there.
thank you.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, Luisa. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like I said, if you want to get and listening, people don't know we have a podcast too, guys. It's a very underrated, underutilized thing. Latinos in Clinical Research podcast. So if you're listening, links to Luisa's LinkedIn are in the show notes. Definitely somebody you want to get to know. And like I said, it's commendable, Luisa, what you've been doing. And if there's anything we can do to help, we will do it. It's our responsibility. So thank you guys very much for watching, listening, and we'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.